Berkshire Hathaway Home Services sales executives for our video message of the week. All right, this week's message is entitled You versus You. And I have 3 tips for you today that I feel will help you move your success forward quicker than you could if you didn't follow these tips. So let's just jump right in. For us to all get better, there's some simple rules of thumb that I want you to follow. The first rule of thumb is you truly need to feel that you have something to improve. Now, if you're a newer sales executive in the business, this tends not to be an issue. But for people who've been in the business, let's say 3 years to 30, and everywhere in between, sometimes we fall into this trap of we don't really internalize that, each and every day, right, or at least on our mind on a consistent basis, we want to be fighting to get better at what we do. So step 1 is we really, truly, always, never should lose this. This goes forever, that we always can fight and be excited about improving. Okay, number 2, when we think about getting better, sometimes we end up comparing ourselves to others. And it's very easy to compare ourselves to individuals that we're better than. Because you know what? We go out in the marketplace, we're doing our business, and guess what? We succeed, and we're very good at what we do. But what ends up happening is we start comparing ourselves to others. I want to tweak that for you today. And what I want you to start comparing yourself is to you and your best. Let's focus on our strengths instead of focusing on someone else's weaknesses, because guess what? You don't have to be at the top of your game to be better at someone if they're not as good as you. So the reality of it is I want you to think about going against your best. Here's a little example for you. Let's say you had you in your office, okay? An identical person to you, however, you were separate from the aspects of doing business, but you had the exact same skill sets. So you had the same abilities. Who's better now? And I mean that in a positive way from this standpoint. If you were going against somebody else with your exact skill sets, what would you need to improve to beat them in a presentation? To make sure you solidified the buyer, okay, over them solidifying the buyer. What could you do to build that stronger relationship over that individual? Think about that. That's you versus you, okay? How would you be better each and every day and each and every appointment? And thirdly, and this is really key that we all can fall into, is I want you to, when you're out in the marketplace, when you're going through training classes, when you're just out there doing business, however you do it, I want you to think about how I can enhance my business. Sometimes through, let's say, a training class, you hear one good idea. Doesn't mean that something that someone else is doing, okay, everything that they're doing meshes or will work well for you. But guess what? Always be open to that one additional idea to say, I'm going to tweak my business just in this way. I'm very good. And guess what? With that additional tweak, I'm even better. The way for all of us to get better is we keep our eyes and ears open on what's going in around us, but truthfully, we're us. And the reality of it is, as long as we commit to that and saying, I personally am going to continue pushing myself to get better, it'll never end, and you'll continue growing your business and growing your skill set. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.